You think you're a good person. You help your friends, you love animals, and you'd never hurt a stranger just because. But what if I told you that there's a 65% chance you could kill someone simply because you were told to? This isn't a thriller script. This is the result of the most famous psychological study in history. Today, we're breaking down the Milgram Experiment and discovering how the system turns ordinary people into puppets. 1961. The world is still recovering from the horrors of World War II. Nazi officers sit in the defendant's chair. Their main defense? Ich habe nur Befehle ausgeführt. I was just following orders.
Guilty!
Psychologist Stanley Milgram asked the question, were these people born monsters? Or does every human have a button inside that shuts off their conscience when pressed by authority? Participants were told this was a memory study. Beanie became the teacher, and an actor behind the wall became the learner. The rules. Learner makes a mistake, Beanie shocks them with electricity. Each mistake, higher voltage, from 15 to 450 volts. What Beanie didn't know, the shocks were fake. The learner was a professional actor who was only pretending to be in pain, but Beanie thought it was all real. At first, it seemed like a game, but at 150 volts, the learner starts screaming, "Let me out! My heart is hurting!" You want to stop, but the experimenter calmly says, "The experiment requires that you continue." Notice, no weapon, no threats, just the calm voice of authority. 65% of participants went all the way, to the lethal shock. They trembled, bit their lips, begged to stop, but they kept pressing those levers. Milgram called this the Agentic State. In this moment, your individual morality shuts down. You become a tool in someone else's hands. The responsibility is no longer yours. I didn't kill them, the professor ordered me to. This is the most dangerous illusion in human history, the illusion of having no choice. Milgram ran 18 variations of the test to find the weak points of obedience. Distance. If the experimenter gave orders by phone, obedience dropped to 21%. Prestige. In a regular office, instead of prestigious Yale University, the number dropped to 48%. Allies. But most importantly, when there was another person next to Beanie who said, "I'm not doing this," 90% also stopped. Milgram himself faced criticism. Was this knowledge worth the psychological trauma to participants? After all, they lived for years knowing they were capable of killing. Today, the agentic state is everywhere. In offices, "I'm just doing my job, selling a toxic product." In medicine, when nurses give dangerous doses because the doctor ordered it. In politics, when people support crimes because the government knows best. How do you recognize when you're becoming an agent? Ask yourself, do I justify my actions with the phrase, "That's just how it is"? Do I see the face of the person my actions are harming? Would I say yes if there was no authority behind me? Next time someone tells you, you have no choice, remember this experiment. There's always a choice, and you are responsible for it. Be the one who breaks the system. Don't press the button.